Hello, I'm Ishirititi, and today we'll be covering the final installment of the Heisei trilogy, the 11th Gamera film, set in 1999, Gamera 3, Revenge of Iris. As always, a quick peek at what's been reset in the world cinema. Many great movies, including Fight Club, The Matrix, Green Mile, The Sixth Sense, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Toy Story 2, American Pie, The Blair Witch Project, and Boondock Saints. Godzilla 2000 Millennium was also published. Let's move on to the film itself. And this is the installment with the highest rating of all Gamera films, both on IMDb and Letterboxd. As I mentioned, the entire trilogy is the 3 highest rated films, so if you are looking to watch them all, it's probably best to watch all 3 rather than starting with Revenge of Iris. The action jumps forward another 2 years, taking place 3 years after the film's installment. The main character, Asuki Kusanagi, is now 18. The age of the second main character, Ayana Hirasaka, is hard to pinpoint, but she is definitely not a child. You can say that she's a teenager. The creators decided on the interesting approach here. In previous installments, many people, including children, had various bonds with Gamera, and Asagi's case is no different. In this installment, however, we get the opposite. Ayana has a resentment of Gamera, stemming from something I mentioned in one of my earlier videos. Gamera is always kind to kids and can be relied on, unless they happen to be unlucky enough to be in a bully that happened to be destroyed. And it's precisely this theme that the creators explore. Ayana's parents die as collateral damage in the battle between Gauss and Gamera from the first film. Since Gauss was defeated and Gamera still exists, she directs her feelings against Gamera. She is entirely not only one with such feelings. Gamera's battles, all throughout the city in defense of humanity, have undoubtedly resulted in a significant number of casualties, certainly fewer than if Gamera had allowed the enemy kaiju to prey on humanity, but such calculations are easy to make when we are not involved. These loved ones have died in this way likely have mixed feelings, to put it mildly. There is also a reference to the Chinese force symbols here. Iris is connected to the Vermilion Beard, also known as the Vermilion Beard of the South. Ayana asks him if the Vermilion Beard and the Black Torsos of the North, with whom she identifies Gamera, are enemies. The relationship treat is actually interesting and original. Also because where we already seen Little Kaiju before he grows into a big version, in Gamera vs Barugon, here the process takes time, and we also have that rather disturbing humor element. Gamera is a positive character. His bond with people has always been fine. Iris' bond is toxic and parasitic, and ends almost fatally for the heroine. She only survives thanks to Gamera. What's unique and different from all Gamera films is the open ending. In the first film, where Gamera was a negative character, the threat posed by him was averted and he was sent into space. In the remaining 10 films, where the opponent was defeated, Gamera flew off into the sunset. Well, except for Super Monster, where he sacrificed himself. But that was also a definitive ending. And here, we have a scene where hordes of Gauss are approaching Japan, and Gamera goes to fight them, because he is Gamera, the best fighting kaiju that ever existed. And no matter how many times he gets punched in the face, he will rise up and win. And what's more, humanity finally gets its shit together, and instead of attacking Gamera, as they have throughout the film, they chant their gods and side with him. It's our fucking time. The ending cut is beautiful. Gamera 1999, the absolute guardian of the universe. There may be other guardian of the galaxy, but Gamera is the guardian of the fucking universe, period. No power in the verse can stop Gamera. Sadly, this movie is also the least award winning, receiving only one at the 4th Japan Internet Movie Awards in the World Award category. A new actor once again played Gamera. Each installment in the trilogy had his own actor. This time it was Hirofumi Fukuzawa. For whom this was his only installment with the series, but he also has a distinct career in various Sentai series, Kamen Riders, Power Rangers, etc. Gamera's antagonist, Iris, was played by Akira Okashi, which is particularly interesting considering that in the previous film, Attack of the Legion, he played Gamera himself. In this film, he also plays Gamera, but not the main character, but a version known as Trauma Gamera, appearing during Ayana's nightmares. This scene was a modified costume from the second film, with Ohashi sitting inside the costume. Again, we don't have any actors who previously appeared in any Gamera films from the Showa series. Ayako Futani, who played Asaki Kwastenko in all 3 installments of the trilogy, and Yukijiro Hataru as Inspector Tatsumoto Osako, of course, returns. Yusuke Kawasu appeared as Aiko Nochiri in Attack of Legion and here. We also have one actor who played in the 5th installment, Gamera Guardian of the Universe, Shiboru Nakasama, who played Hilma Yumi no Kamina. We already mentioned Takuchi Tomoro in the previous film. He played in 2 different films in the trilogy, but different characters. In the previous film, he played Subway Conductor, here he appeared as Doctor, and in the next film, Gamera the Brave, he appeared as Mr. Hitosugu Yoshimitsu. Ishimaru Gojiro played SDF air personnel here. In Gamera the Brave, you can see him as Dr. Amiya's childhood. As for connection to other series, well, I don't know any reference in any other film or TV series. Physical release including the standard, which airs DVD, Blu-ray. Individual releases, some with the entire trilogy, and of course, the Arrow edition, which covered all 12 films, along with a ton of extras. I talked a lot about this release in my Gamera the Giant Monster video, so here I will just talk about things related to this film. Of course, we got the original Japanese version, an English dubbed version, also with commentary by Steve Rifle and Ed Kodziszewski. We also got an unusual commentary with one of the soldiers, Gamera, and Iris commenting on the action. We also have a few extras, including part 3 of the A Testimony of 50 Years, mentioned in 2 previous videos, which features 95 very different people, some of whom focused on their work on this particular movie. We also got things like an interview with Kao Tsutsumi about the DNA Tokusatsu exhibition in Tokyo by kaiju historian Edward L. Holland. We also get some deleted scenes. Online availability is standard, especially for American viewers, where the film is available on the free service Tubi.tv. Comic-wise, it's quite sparse. I mentioned the comics set between part 2 and 3, titled Gamera vs. Barugon comic version, in more details in the previous video, so I skipped this one. The only other comics is an adaptation in concurrency with the film, with the obvious title Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris. I don't have access of this, I assume it's just a typical adaptation. Merchandise is standard, with Iris figurines and of course, this film version of Gamera. The next recording will be about Gamera the Brave. But for now, that's all. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!